Look, this mess just keeps getting more ridiculous. Jasmine Crockett is being hyped as a rising star in the Democratic Party, but there's a serious problem. Her rhetoric, it's getting out of hand. You see, behind all of her viral moments lies a pattern of aggressive, borderline violent language aimed at her political opponents. What started as boldness is now raising red flags across the board. It's gotten so extreme that both the Justice Department and the House of Representatives are stepping in to address the situation. And while today we're covering it all, as always, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
Now Jasmine Crockett's out there. She wants to be the lead attacker of Elon Musk, of Governor Abbott, of Ted Cruz. Here's her latest on Elon, I guess, as she celebrates her birthday, which was March 19th.
On March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, I have learned as I serve on the DOJ Oversight Committee that there is only one language that the people that are in charge understand right now. And that language is money.
Yeah, she sounded normal there a little bit, Matt. I guess the accent comes and goes.
Yeah, you heard that right. These comments are coming from a sitting Congresswoman, one from the party that constantly claims to champion the environment and peace. Remember when we were told electric vehicles were the future and key to reducing our carbon footprint? Well, that was just a big push a few years ago, and nowadays the far-left activists are literally setting Teslas on fire and vandalizing charging stations. Some would say this is a complete 180. Protesting at companies, everyone's absolute right, but actively destroying property, well, that's where the line gets crossed. That's why Crockett's comments got a ton of backlash. Simply put, it's the type of reckless language we heard before the Pennsylvania attempt on Trump's life, and we all witnessed how after that incident, the left briefly called for everyone to tone things down. Yeah, that worked. But clearly the message didn't stick, because here we are again, watching the same people encourage destructive behavior while pretending they care about civility. Pam Bondi wasn't about to let such language slide, and she issued a clear warning to Jasmine.
This is domestic terrorism. And Maria, now you have this Congresswoman Crockett who is calling for attacks on Elon Musk on her birthday. Let's take him out on my birthday, she says. Yet she turns and says, oh, I'm not calling for violence. Well, she is an elected public official. And so she needs to tread very carefully because nothing will happen to Elon Musk.
It's about time the Justice Department actually stepped in. And no, this isn't just about Pam schooling Jasmine Crockett. This is about keeping things from spiraling out of control. When protests cross the line into destruction and violence, law enforcement cannot afford to look the other way. Things got so extreme that incendiary devices were found at a Texas Tesla dealership, which could have ended in disaster. And a man in Florida was arrested after driving his car into a crowd of anti-Tesla protesters. Realizing she'd landed herself in hot water, Jasmine tried to do some damage control during an MSNBC interview, but even while backtracking her previous comments, she still managed to come off as completely insufferable.
I'm actually going to say that I participated in a Tesla takedown. That is the name of the website. And it was all about this large protest that they're calling for. And this is a nonviolent protest that they're calling for. And in fact, when I was on there, which is why the Attorney General had to say that I wasn't calling for violence, and it's ridiculous that I even have to say something like that, but because they are trying to twist our words. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see that Elon Musk, that his money as it relates to Tesla, well, Tesla's tanking right now, and I'm okay with that. So just in case the slow people listening decide to clip this up later, I just want to say that I have never promoted violence whatsoever.
I guess she's talking about us since we already clipped this, and she's right. We're kind of slow since it's been over a week for those comments, but we only managed to cover it now. So hey, drop a like and subscribe to our timely takes. Jokes aside though, after this MSNBC interview, she managed to double down in the worst possible way. She tastelessly referred to Governor Greg Abbott, who's been in a wheelchair since 1984, as Governor Hot Wheels. But that's not violent rhetoric, that's just her attempt at being edgy, and she didn't stop there. In a completely separate incident, she went after her fellow Texan Senator Ted Cruz, saying, I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him, like, at all. Like, you go clean off on him. Like, I don't know, like, that kind of sounds like incitement. But her team later clarified she was speaking metaphorically. I think they're right, because a classy woman like Jasmine wouldn't call for such stuff. Honestly, if any Republican had half of what she said, every MSM outlet would cover it for days. Alina Habba reacted to all of Jasmine's theatrics during an interview on Fox News, and she might have dropped some hints here.
All right, Alina, the Justice Department, they're looking at Crockett pretty closely. She seems to say whatever she wants about Elon Musk, about Tesla, about potential danger. Does she understand what she's getting herself into?
I don't think so. I think she's used to the last administration where they were all bark and no bite. That's not this one. Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, which I'm now proud to be a part of, I can tell you very clearly that we will not tolerate that. If you threaten anybody, especially somebody who's a patriot who's taking care of this country and getting rid of fraud and waste, we're going to come at you. Do not threaten people. And if you are a government official, you better recheck your ethics rules. And that's what Pam was speaking about. It's enough of this. It's enough of this. And we're going to come down hard on it.
Well, House Republicans are now moving to censure Jasmine Crockett over her recent out-of-line comments. And if the measure passes, she'd be the second Democrat in just a month to earn that honor. The first was Al Green, who got censured after repeatedly interrupting President Trump during his State of the Union speech. And you'd think being in Congress would come with some sense of professionalism. But apparently that memo didn't make it to the far left wing of the Democratic Party. The more extreme they go, the more it feels like they're turning our politics to a full-blown reality show. And to wrap things up, we have Matt Taibbi explaining why Jasmine is engaging in such activities, and I have to say, I think he summed it up perfectly here.
So this is funny. Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee, and about a month ago, Walter?
Oh,
I testified.
Yes, we saw this.
Committee. Yeah, and the hearings, the full committee hearings are quite long. You can be there for over 4 hours. So, and they let the most junior members ask questions last. So I had to sit for quite a long time. And then at the very end, Jasmine Crockett, who I had never heard before, suddenly started screaming at me and Michael Schellenberger, but I could not understand what she was saying. She was moving from one thing to another, and she was doing all that code switching stuff with the y'alls and y'all eyeing on this and everything. And then I went home to look her up, and I found her talking like that online. I was like, what was that all about? And it's just, that's what she does. She puts out this video of her acting in a certain way, and that's how she fundraises.
Yeah, exactly. All of this is just a fundraising stunt so she can boost her profile and brand herself as some kind of thought leader within the party. But let's be honest, the label doesn't mean anything anymore, especially when it includes people like Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Elizabeth Warren. Good Lord. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And as Jasmine would say, like if you want your friends to get their coverage from an independent source like us please share the video with them. Seriously, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.